Well, many of you know Rob Quail, who grew up in the church here. His mother, Marilyn, is our child protection officer, our safeguarding officer, and Simon and Marilyn have been part of the church for many years, and I know lots of you will know them. Rob and his wife, Helen, later this year are heading off to Central America with EMI, not the record label, but Engineering Ministries International. Last November, the PCC adopted them as mission partners, and a week or so ago, I caught up with Rob and Helen. So, Rob and Helen, it's great to catch up with you. You're heading off to Central America with Engineering Ministries International. Tell us, who are EMI?
Shall I take this one?
Yeah.
So Engineering Ministries International is a Christian NGO based in a number of different regions globally. They've got about 150 members of staff worldwide and about 50 interns at any time. And they mobilise teams of architects, engineers, surveyors, project managers to work with local Christian ministries in each of those areas to help them develop their sites to further their ministry. So that's working with schools, hospitals, other churches to build church buildings, extend the site. But ultimately, whilst these are physical structures that they're building or surveys they're doing, it's all about building platforms for mission that sort of extend those ministries' vision for how they're reaching the lost in their area through whatever they're doing. So it's a very practical ministry, but it's got hopefully deep, spiritual, long-lasting sort of legacy.
Great, sounds really good. So you're going to Nicaragua, but you're not going directly to Nicaragua, are you? You're going to Costa Rica first. So
that's right, yeah.
Doing some language study there first?
Yep, so we're planning to go to Costa Rica at the end of April to start in a Spanish academy, learning Spanish for about 8 months before moving over to Nicaragua. And the children will go to a bilingual school that's very close to the academy that Rob and I are going to be studying at for those months as well.
So how did all of this come about? How did you end up, preparing to leave London and head halfway around the world to Central America?
Good question.
You take this one.
Yeah. So I first did a project with Engineering Ministries International in 2009 as a volunteer when I went out, joined a trip in Nigeria where they were designing a fish farm training centre for locals there to learn how to farm fish and improve the amount of protein in the local diet and generate business, but also to train people to become fishers of men. So it was a Bible Institute as well. So really interesting ministry vision. And EMI, we surveyed this 15-acre site in the Nigerian jungle. My job was to design a biogas digester which took all the waste from the chicken and the fish on the site and turned it into methane to power the site. So it was a really interesting design challenge, working with a great ministry doing that. And that was my first experience of using engineering to sort of directly benefit these ministries through EMI. We then did a around the world trip actually back in 2012 and managed to join in on another trip in Honduras at that time. So you might want to say a little bit about that one. You joined on.
Yes, that was, for me, that was an opportunity just to learn a bit more about EMI. I'm not an engineer or architect by background, so just to be able to see what these project trips did. And lots of architects and engineers and specialists come from different disciplines, from different parts of the world, from America and Canada and the UK, and they join with a local kind of team to do these master plan designs that would probably take months to do, and everyone comes for a week or 10 days and just works really hard on getting that done, and then the local office kind of continue with that and take that on. So we were working on a project there, and I did some aerial photography, not that I have any skills in there, but they needed someone to go up in a plane and take some pictures, and I wasn't helpful in any other ways, so I did that.
And you did some surveying in the field, didn't you, holding
I held a stick.
a stick. Oh, well.
What a great job, eh?
But that probably sowed the first seeds of the idea of actually joining staff in one of the local regional offices. That was back in 2012, and then a lot happened after that in both of our careers. But in 2018, we were at Spring Harvest, and we really felt God calling us to consider more closely joining EMI as staff, and what it would be like to be missionaries going and serving for a period of years overseas. And we just prayed into that a lot, didn't we? We went out. I did another volunteer trip in 2019 to test the waters. We went out as a family in the summer of 2019 with the kids to see how they would find it. They enjoyed it. We were staying in a hotel. I went to the beach a lot, so they've got maybe a slightly idea of what it's going to be like out there the whole time. But we had a great trip, and then we prayed some more, and we then applied. So there's quite a rigorous process of application and interviews and assessments, and then we accepted the offer. And then a global pandemic happened in the middle of all of that, and then the last year has been about raising the funds and going through all sorts of other processes to get ready to go.
Yeah. And we've heard a bit about what you've done on other trips. We've heard about what EMI do themselves. What will you be doing when you get to Nicaragua?
So the projects are changing sort of all the time within the office, but one project at the moment is with a charity called Tesoro de Dios, Treasures of God, which is a school that works with children with learning disabilities and physical disabilities, and their services are massively oversubscribed. There's not much of those services available in the area, and so EMI have been working with them to consider how they can develop their site further. And they've helped build their first sort of phase, which is an equine therapy centre. And the office is continuing to help them build the next phases of that project. And so as a project manager, I will be working with teams of engineers and architects to deliver the designs. And depending on how the ministry wants to take it, we can do some of the detailed designs and then the construction management and delivery, or can hand over at that point to sort of local contractors to take it forward. So that's one project, but there's several like that, including ones about water systems, improving the quality of water supply to some remote communities in Nicaragua, and also they're looking to do a project to increase the resilience of homes on the east coast of Nicaragua, where there's been a number of hurricanes recently, you might have seen in the news, and those sort of incidents are only likely to increase in number. So there's work being done there to see what can be done to reduce the amount of sort of crisis response that's required by putting in work at the development stage.
Okay. You mentioned the children. You said how they went with you when you went out there for that holiday. What's going to happen about their schooling?
So the plan is obviously to start with, we'll be in Costa Rica, and they'll do the bilingual school, and hopefully immersively they'll learn Spanish, and then they will go to an international school where we're looking at. There's various options, and we haven't completely confirmed which one yet, but there are some good options for schools for them in the capital where we'll be living. Great.
Thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been great to catch up and hear about all that's happening. We look forward to hearing updates in due course. And I'm sure we'll hear from your parents, Rob, how you're getting on. But finally, how can we pray for you?
Oh, thanks, Martin. Yeah, well, actually, first of all, just want to say a huge thank you to the support and encouragement you've been, Martin, and Rosa and the missions team. It's been a real process getting to this point, and we just want to give thanks to God, really, for getting to this point where we're getting ready to go. We've raised about 75% of the funds we need to go, so we just need to raise that final 25% to get us over the line. So prayers that would be forthcoming. Once we get to 80%, we can start booking things like the Spanish school and flights, etc. We also want to find some great tenants to let out our property to whilst we're away. So prayers that for the provision of that would be great.
And I think just praying for us as a family in the transition, obviously leaving the UK in the current climate is unknown and uncertain, and we are praying that we get to see our friends and family before we leave. But yeah, just hold us in prayer and the children in prayer as they transition into a new country, a new culture, a new language, all of those things that we are not so sure about just yet.
Great. Well, thank you ever so much. Thank you for recording this for us and for the service. And like I say, we look forward to hearing updates in due course.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks, everyone.
Well, we'll be praying for Rob and Helen later on in our service. And if you would like to know more, then there will be some information in the email which comes out on Wednesday and links to websites where you can find out more about what Rob and Helen will be doing and follow their journey. We're going to turn to song again now. At our contemporary service, we have an action song, so why not jump up and join in with those actions? It's Our God is Generous. At our traditional service, as it would have been evensong this week, we have the Magnificat and the Nunc Dimittis. If you're watching with children, then after this next song, after Magnificat and Nunc Dimittis, you might like to pause the service and go and watch the Sunday Rocks or the Engage video.